So this is going to be a quick video on Crete-Heat paneling for subfloor insulation and radiant heat installation. So I'm building a home in Western North Carolina, and we chose to put radiant floor heating throughout the home. And we were advised by the radiant floor company that this would be a product that we should look into. We decided to go with it because of the ease of the radiant tubing installation and the fact that it was going to give us an R factor under the slab, and the fact that I didn't have to buy a separate vapor barrier, because these panels are actually insulation mounting for the radiant flooring, and they lock in together tongue and groove so that it is a moisture barrier for your pad. We had discussed the project with the building inspector prior to the installation of the product, and there didn't seem to be any issues with putting the product down. Now what we did was we installed the product directly to the ground, because underneath our pad is actually sandstone. It's very rigid. We were able to level it within very close tolerances prior to the start. Then we installed the paneling according to the layouts that we had. And during our installation, we used these little black landscaping spikes. They're either 8 or 10 inch spikes from Home Depot, because we're in a high wind area. You can see one here too. And we just put those in every so often to keep the panels down prior to us mounting the radiant floor heating. We didn't want the panels to blow away while we were transitioning to the radiant heat installation. So the floor was actually mounted and was very solid. Then we had the building inspector come out to inspect for pre-pour inspection, and he failed the product. He failed the product because according to the county that we're in, we have to have 4 inches of gravel under the slab, and there is no code for heatcrete paneling. So according to the code, it should be follow manufacturer specifications. He wasn't going to go with that. He said he's not sure of the product. He wanted it done the way that he's used to. So we had to pull up all the radiant floor heating. We had to pull up all the panels. Had to have a company come in, dig 4 inches out of the pad throughout the whole lower half of the home here, reinstall it with, or backfill it with 4 inches of number 57 or 3/4 1 inch gravel, and then attempt to level it, which they didn't do. So me and my wife did all of this. While we were relaying the pads, we had to use a tamper to get the gravel as level as we could, but you can't level number 57. So if you're going to use gravel and your county that you're in allows you to use the smaller gravel like this, that you can level. But our county required the number 57, so we were more than ½ inch off in the level. So with that being said, if you have to use the number 57 gravel, you cannot level the floor within the 1/4 inch or less recommendations that Crete-Heat has. This is probably not the correct product to be using, because the unevenness of the gravel makes it very difficult to lay the product correctly. So now the product, we ended up having to put down vapor barrier anyway, according to the building code inspector. So it basically nullified all the benefits of having the Crete-Heat paneling. So I could have just gone to a 2 inch thick pad and used the staples. It probably would have saved me a lot of money. But I do say that the radiant floor heating installation is very easy on this product. So I would definitely think twice if your building code requires the 4 inches of gravel under the home using this product. Because what happens is the flexing of the product causes the radiant floor tubing to come out of the grooves that it's in. So we actually laid the wire mesh over the top of everything because the concrete is going to be our finished floor. So the wire mesh is actually holding the radiant floor heating panels down in some areas. Like you can tell right here, it's popping up because of the flexing of the panels. There's nothing that you can do with that because the panels aren't laid flat according to manufacturer specifications. So you can't rely on the vapor barrier portion of it. I know that the concrete's going to weight the pads and probably seal those joints, but you still can't rely on that if you're using that as your primary source of vapor barrier.